Damn. Okay. One more time with feeling. I don't know what the hell was going. My camera was acting funky, and then all of a sudden everything went offline. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. So, anyways, thought we'd try one more time. One more time with feeling, man. See if this thing works this time. Still not going where I want it to go. I'm not sure what the deal is there. There we go. Anyways, there it is. Anyway, now we're back. If you were waiting for me before and you got tired, I apologize. Shit was happening, man. I got to figure out what the fuck was going on. But I've been having some technical difficulties all day long. So, anyways, anyway, I digress. Oh, mercy. We're going to run this video into Saturday morning, apparently. I was trying to wind down, but I was getting a little, everything was going great until that moment and when nothing worked and I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. And that was starting to fluster me a little bit. But it's okay now. I'm back. I'm working on relaxing again. I was almost there, and then everything went freaking haywire. I couldn't figure out what the problem was. Anyways, anyway, one more time. But I'm feeling much better now. To steal from Buddy. Let me adjust my privacy there. See if that gets us right where we need to be. Yeah. All right, there we go. Anyways, whew. So I wasn't going to open any more whiskey until I worked through some of the stuff I got, but there's one particular bottle I got for my birthday from Anna Levi that I wanted to open. I thought it was a different bottle they gave me because we were drinking it that night. Anyways, specially bottled an elevated proof Walcott Authentic Kentucky-made bourbon. Rickhouse Reserve, distilled by Barton, 1792. This is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey at 120 proof. And I thought they might have more information, but that's all they're telling me there. Let me show you that bottle. Gave myself a generous pour here. So we'll sip it slow with you. Oh, wow. Very nice nose. Oh, yeah. That's gorgeous. I think this might be a Total Wine exclusive. Distilled by Barton, 1792. Kentucky allocated from the famous Barton 1792. Warming notes of vanilla, caramel. Yeah, it's. Oh no, this ain't the right bourbon. The one they are showing me is the 90 proof, but this is the cask that I'm drinking. Let's see if I can find that one here. Walcott Reserve. There it is. Kentucky allocated from the renowned Barton 1792. Special 120 proof bottling showcases the best of high proof bourbon, intense notes of rice spice, charred oak, and stone fruit. They don't give me the particular mash, but obviously it is a traditional that uses rye or wouldn't say intense rye. Anyways, we're just gonna keep going now. We're just gonna keep going now, man. Oh, nice velvety mouthfeel. Wow, that's gorgeous. Remarkably approachable at that 120. Rather sweet initially, but then you feel those spice notes coming into play. Just a tad on the chewy side. Gosh, that's gorgeous, man. That ain't bad at all. Oh, a very spicy bourbon. Yeah, you can really tell there's a lot of rye going on, a lot of barrel spice in the finish. A lot of cinnamon, allspice. You might pick up some nutmeg, ginger, even some clove, depending on how you feel spice notes. Yeah, a lot of big, very dark brown sugar because you're going to feel a lot of molasses, man. You might even get just that slight notion of maple in there. Dark fruits, huh? That's really going to be between you and your palate. It's not going to be unusual though if you find some raisin. You might even find date and or fig, overripe plum. I love the luxuriousness of this whiskey though. Really comes together very nice. I'm going to set it down for a second because I did pour me a beer. And it hasn't been the season, or hasn't been, hasn't been the weather for a beer like this. But was in my birthday basket, so I figured let's go with an imperial stout. It's from Evil Twin, even more Jesus, and it is at 12%. Oh my god! A few times in the history of craft beer, it has happened that a highly praised beer rises beyond mortal stardom into higher godly league. Usually, the recipe to make such heavenly drops is thick fudge like body, pitch black color, amazingly overwhelming aromas of chocolate, coffee, dark fruits, and muscovado sugar. Obviously, only made in limited amounts, and most crucial of all, it must taste rare. I hadn't had an imperial stout in a while. Quite frankly, it just sounded good. Since it was part of my birthday haul, I thought I would share it with y'all. Oh, good God. Wow. Wow. Well, they are kidding, man. This is, wow. Holy shit, man. Wow. That's amazing. Big and luxurious. A whole bunch of aromas of dark chocolate coffee. I'm going to tell you, I mean, the first thing I noticed was big dark chocolate notes. Yeah, you're going to pick up everything else they said, the coffee, the dark fruits, the muscovado sugar. But I'm telling you, the first thing that caught my attention was those great big, almost just slightly bitter dark chocolate notes. Oh, that's freaking gorgeous. Again, I like to say dark fruits are really up to you, right? You're not going to taste what you don't know. So if you don't eat dates and figs, you're not going to taste them. Raisin is typically what most people will get because that's a flavor that everybody's familiar with. But those are the typical flavors, dark fruit flavors you get. Overripe plum is certainly a possibility, but not typically in beer, more so in whiskey. So this is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to set that down now. I'm going to focus back on this whiskey for a second and see how much that changed the palate. The cinnamon on the aromatics is just insane here. Oh, fuck me running. Oh, that is delicious. Oh, mercy. That is really good, man. I love the spiciness. I love the chewiness of this particular bourbon. I did want to taste it, but I do want to kind of put it aside now and hopefully be able to share some with Levi and Ann. This is nice, man. I don't know when I've had a bourbon with this much lingering spice. Wow, that is really something. I wish they gave me an age on this. They did not, though. I am curious. It must be. No, I guess not. Okay. I thought maybe it was an exclusive to Total Wine, but it's not. It's hoping to find a mash bill and an age, but I'm not getting an exact age. Stealing Barton, 1792, bottling Buffalo Trace Distillery. Gives me some tasting notes. Yeah, but no, I've pulled up several different things now, and it's not giving me an age or a mash bill, so that may not be available. So we're gonna quit worrying about it. Quit fucking with it, man. I'm feeling much better now. Wow, this stuff is amazing. I love that mouthfeel. I gotta tell you, I love the luxuriousness of this whiskey. I love the initial sweetness of that big, deep brown sugar notes that burst into those incredible spice notes in the finish. That big chewy rye. That's why I'm curious of the percentage of rye, because it gives me that high rye kind of feel, and I'm a big high rye bourbon kind of guy. I didn't used to have a taste for rye, mostly because, well, in all honesty, I really just hadn't come across many. But the more I drink, I find I really prefer the larger percentages of rye. Some folks like that higher corn. Makes for a sweeter rye. But I picked up, I believe it was a New Riff malted rye, 6-year-old malted rye. It was 100% rye. And that thing was, oh my God. And that may be why I've really been moving more towards high rye bourbons. I don't mind weeded bourbons, and I like them upon occasion, but they are a little softer, they are a little sweeter, and I think I just like the chewier nature of the rye as a secondary. Oh, let's go back to this beer for a minute. My nose just started running. Man, that's nice. This is gonna do me in for the evening, man. This is gonna take me out the game. Let me put the rest of that in here. Oh my God, that's it's almost motor oil consistency. That might be a negative for some folks, but not for me, because this is what I want a beer like this to be. I want it to be rich and malty and decadent, and this thing does all of that. That is just freaking gorgeous, man. From Evil Twin Brewing. Yeah, that's gonna make me. That's gonna put me out, man. Relax. I am off tomorrow though, so I'm gonna try to relax. I am off Sunday, but I got something going on Sunday that I don't want to share right now because, well, if it goes awful for me, I don't want to have to relive it over and over again with people asking me, "What were you talking about?" I let myself get into something, and now I'm way over my head, way out of my comfort zone. So rather than try to, I thought about, taking tomorrow and just trying to put the thing together that I need to put together. I decided, oh, I'm just going to try to get out of my head and relax and not think about it, and then deal with it when I have to deal with it. I've always been better at cramming for tests than studying. Because I psych myself out. So I think if I think about this thing too much that I've got to do Sunday, I'm going to psych myself out and it's going to get ugly. So I don't want to do that. And we'll see how it goes. I haven't, it'd be the first time I've done something like this. And like I said, it's way, 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 way out of my comfort zone. So I am extremely nervous. I'm also excited that I'm getting the opportunity to try something like this. So don't get me wrong. I'm not regretting doing it, but I am rather terrified of what could happen. There we go. Anybody watching, anybody still awake at this hour? Damn, what the hell is wrong with you? If you have any questions or comments, put it up there. We work back through this beer again. This stuff is insane, man. I was going to try a cocktail tonight, but then I felt like I needed to do these other things first. A friend was telling me about a cocktail that I was unfamiliar with. I made him a cocktail at work, kind of a limited run as we work through some product called I call Smoke Show. It is basically kind of a version of or a riff on a Manhattan, but I use the Bunratty peated whiskey at 86 proof, and then I use sweet vermouth, and then I use the smoked orange bitters. And I like the way it all comes together. I've made it twice now for folks. As he let his wife try it, as his wife was telling me about a cocktail she likes. There's very few smoky cocktails she likes, but she liked that one. But the one she really likes is called a burnt martini. Basically, a dry martini, then finished with a little bit of a, a very peaty scotch. So I'm going to try this since I have some single malt scotch here. I was going to do that this evening, but I'm not. This is going to be it, man. That's all I got. But the cocktail did intrigue me. She mentioned it was done by just floating that scotch over the top. The other examples, when I looked up recipes and pictures of, there was just a lot of different ways to do it. If you can, I guess, if you could get that to do that thing, it would be a nice presentation. So I'm going to see. I'm going to monkey with that one. I don't know if I'll do it tomorrow or not because I've got something going on, but. I was very intrigued by the cocktail. It's certainly something that I think about adding to our repertoire. We haven't had a call for a lot of scotch though at work, in all honesty. In fact, it's been slower moving this peated Irish than I thought it would be. But I think some of our audience might be changed. We've got a lot of bourbon guys that come in, so I tend to make everything around bourbon. But we have brought in a couple ryes that have worked for us, a couple different cocktails. I really like using the rye in the Manhattan, even though in the past I've made it with bourbon. I certainly have here a lot. But Tiakida, local distillery to me, makes such an amazing rye. They've got a port barrel finished rye that is just, I mean, it is just there. Uh, I mean, quite frankly, you might be able to even bypass the vermouth, but yeah, I mean, it is right there. It's already giving you those notes. You add that little bit of sweet vermouth and whatever bitters sounds good to you, and man, oh, excuse me. Uh, this is a very interesting bourbon. I gotta tell you, again, rather approachable at that 120. I'm not personally getting a burn, but I think I'm kind of immune to such things. I'm not impervious to alcohol. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but I don't get the burn that a lot of folks do. I don't feel that hot for a lot of whiskeys that other folks do. I've got those whiskey genetics, I guess. Must run in the family. And I will say, the older I get, the more I'm drinking whiskey neat. Also, but I do like the cocktails too. But I'm talking about purist cocktails. I'm talking about whiskey slash booze forward cocktails. I'm not talking about fruity nonsense. Anyway, I'm gonna set that down. We're getting near the end of that, so let me whittle this beer down just a little bit more. Since we've drifted into, we've drifted, man. We've drifted into Saturday, man. Oh. Again, luxurious. The mouthfeel of this beer is just insane. It again, much like the whiskey, it is a tad on the chewy side, but that's what it was designed to be. A lot of molasses I'm just picking up there. I'm not feeling that big dark fruit note, but I don't. That's not something that I really focus on or know a lot about. I'm feeling those other things in a great big way. Certainly, a lot of big, deep, dark chocolate notes, almost slightly bitter dark chocolate with some coffee notes as well. Oh, this thing is just. Oh my lord! Ah, who's contacting me there? We'll post their comment. I'll read it here. Ah, Slancha, how you getting on? You're a good man. You can take a strong drink. Well, I'm old. I'm old and tough, man. We've been through some things here. My taste buds, liver, and eye. So, yeah, I do like a big drink these days. I am finding myself drinking more and more cask whiskey because I love the flavor. I don't like that watered down feel. I'd rather have a good pour and drink less than drink a lot of 80 proof stuff. 80 proof whiskey is just feeling watery to me. But especially if I'm making a cocktail, I like a minimum of 90 if I'm making a Manhattan. But quite frankly, I like 100 or cask because I want to feel that. I want to. I'm not putting my whiskey in a cocktail to hide or cover up the flavor of the whiskey. I'm doing that to enhance it. And I think that's what a lot of folks miss is when they tell you, well, you shouldn't use good whiskey in a cocktail. And quite frankly, I could not disagree more. Your cocktail is only as good as the ingredients you put in it. So there we go. Anyways, I digress. Let me pull that comment back. The Whiskey Whisperer and the Beer Whisperer. We're going to wrap this one up since I've been talking for almost 30 minutes. I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and I'm also Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, all around good guy. Sláinte. Thanks for tuning in, guys, this late.